Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing whether or not a consular strategic partnership, not partnership, but conference would be useful in the circumstances of the current dialogue between the U.S. and Thailand. What am I talking about here? I thought of making this video after reading a recent article from Reuters. It's Reuters.com. Article is titled, U.S. hits Thai officials with visa sanctions over deportation of Uyghurs to China. Quoting directly, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Friday announced sanctions against officials from Thailand, a U.S. ally, for their role in deporting at least 40 Uyghurs to China, where Washington says the members of the Muslim group will face persecution. Yeah, I did a rather long video on this whole thing. I'm sort of ambivalent about the whole thing overall. I probably shouldn't be. There are people at issue here, and you can't just purely live in the world of, theory and law and policy. But the issue of sort of Thailand deporting people, again, that's Thailand's prerogative to deport people. It's a sticky wicket, and it's the reason for this video, but I made another video on that. I urge those who are watching this, check that one out. That said, let's just leave it at it's kind of a sticky wicket, all of this. And frankly, we've seen some big transitions coming from the U.S. It might be time for maybe the U.S. To sort of borrow a phrase from the film The Sopranos or the TV series The Sopranos. It might be time for the U.S. and Thailand to maybe have a little sit down. And what do I mean by that? And I mean that genuinely. Okay, I thought of that when I was reading this article. Made me think of another article from the Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com. Article is titled, South Korea says it regrets spurning Thai visitors. Quoting directly, the measures include the voluntary departure program that allows illegal workers to present themselves to South Korean authorities before being sent back to Thailand without being blacklisted. Another measure is the employment permit system quota that allows 4,800 Thai laborers to work there legally every year. Both countries agreed to hold a consular strategic conference to work on the problem further. Meanwhile, Labor Minister Pipat Ratchakiprakan sent a notification to the Department of Tourism and Travel Agents Association to discourage agencies from enabling Thais to work illegally in South Korea. So there's a little more detail on that, and I wanted there to be some meat on the bone to understand what we're talking about. There was a bit of a dispute going back, I don't know, it's been within the last year, 14 months, between Thailand and South Korea regarding some of the people that were traveling out of Thailand into South Korea to apparently work illegally. And basically, they had a conference. The sort of consular level officers of both countries had a conference and discussed immigration matters, immigration policy, etc. And they came to some conclusions, and they made some arrangements moving forward. I don't think this would be a terrible idea for the U.S. and Thailand to perhaps have a sit down like this, and not just to talk about this Uyghur thing. If anything, I'm kind of hoping the Uyghur thing will be used as a pretext, if you will, to have the conference so that they can talk about a broad swath of stuff having to do with visas, immigration, documentation, certification, etc., and then immigration policy, and they can do more serious stuff like this Uyghur stuff sort of off in the background, but there's other things like consular stuff, visas, again, visa policy too, immigration policy, reciprocity pertaining to Thailand having a visa system whereby Americans can just sort of walk in, but it's very difficult, for example, for Thais to get a tourist visa could be something to discuss. Again, things like the Uyghur situation. Long story short, it looks to me like South Korea and Thailand greatly benefited from one of these consular strategic conferences. Perhaps it wouldn't be a terrible idea for the United States and Thailand to hold one as well.